as soon as the studios were open for a limited session,
isolated.
Yeah, you had to have one person in the control room and one person in the live room. I booked a studio. I work at a lot called Dean Street Studios, and I work there a lot. And I know the engineers there, and they were kind of great. It was like, oh, someone's working here. It's fantastic, So I went in a lot on my own, and because I had COVID in the beginning, and it really affected my chest and voice. It kind of damaged my lungs a little bit, unfortunately. And so I listened back to the first vocals I did, and they were like that, like Tom Waits or something, But so I kind of worked on it a bit, and I kind of got my voice back a bit. But it was a great luxury to do that, so to go in on my own with nobody there, just having the time, just me and the engineer. And I say, I'll try this little bit of melody and try this, and got the BVs in and doing some BVs. Everyone's going, thank God you're improved, we've got some work. It's amazing. I've been stuck inside for 6 months.
New York City, 1981. I was lost in the junkie jungle. Called into the factory on Union Square for a Warhol introduction. He saw me and he said hi, and I said hi, and he said gee, and he asked me and I asked he, and Polaroid he and me.
I think we were both influenced by Andy Warhol. We're both inspired by Andy Warhol. Certainly when I was at art college, even before I went to met David Leeds Poly in my early foundation years. So I'd seen a documentary on the TV by David Bailey about Andy Warhol. I thought, it's just fantastic, and I loved Lou Reed and all that thing, the Velvet Underground. It was all part of a world that I just thought was fantastic.
Yeah, it was the idea that you could have, because we were formed in an art college, the idea that you could have this sort of big studio in New York, and there'd be all these kind of freaky people. Some people would be just drug addicts. Some of them would be just in a band. Some would be just making paintings. And then making films. In a way, Leeds Polytechnic, when we met, was kind of like that. There were all the freaky people. Yeah. There were people doing performance art. I was doing music as well.
I was making Super 8 films, and I was working on little Super 8 films.
That multimedia sort of thing really appealed to us, and I think that's why the Warhol thing was a massive influence.
He saw me and he said hi, and I said hi, and he said gee, and he asked me and I asked he, and Polaroid and he and me. The way you lie, they are the Nighthawks. They are the Nighthawks. The shadow people. They are the Nighthawks.
Well, Nighthawks started off just as an instrumental. It wasn't really a soft cell track. It was just something that I was doing as a solo thing. And then I think Marc heard it and said, "Oh, what's that track? I'd really like to do some vocals on it. So feel free." So
I just loved it. I said, I'm going to nick this, Dave, because I really like this track. And
which is fine.
Records. I said, so I really liked it. It was like, I just loved it. It was just kind of something. I mean, a lot of the songs we've been writing so far were kind of more kind of songs. They were kind of...
Well, it was just a kind of relentless machine sort of music.
I just thought, we need to have something that's kind of a bit dark and a bit edgy, right, thrown into the mix.
This is called Purple Zone.
Well, the way the Pet Shop Boys came about was they'd come to see us on the second night when we played at Hammersmith at the event. And they came backstage and they loved the show and thought the visuals fantastic and stuff. And I remember Chris said to me, "What's that new track you played at the end?"
Let's get out of this life. I'm afraid and alone, paralyzed in the purple zone.
It was great, that. And Chris said to him, what do you fancy doing a mix, just cheekily? He's like, yeah, all right. And the next thing, they said, yeah, well, okay, we'll do a remix. So they did a mix, which sounds fantastic. And
Let's get out of this life.
complete utter surprise, because Purple Zone was always a track I was never too sure about. I liked it, but strangely enough, I always thought maybe it sounds a bit too Pet Shop Boys, so I wasn't entirely sure, but I liked it, and I got to really love it. And I put it in the, let's put it in the encore, because the artist Heather Phillipson had done all these kind of visual images to go with it when the Turner Prize.
It was fantastic.
Paralyzed in the purple zone. One day you'll awake from your sleep of the dead.
The video was already done, and then the track was already done, already ready to go, and then along came the version with the Pet Shop Boys. Wow, and we all thought it was really exciting. So then we had this video, but with no Pet Shop Boys. It just seemed a very, very sensible thing for us all to be together in a couple of shots in the video, so people can see that the reality is we're all together, all four of us, and it's not something that we've done in distant planets or something. And Neil was pulling pints in the pub and everything, which was great. And I think it's great that the two top synth duos in Britain have come together and made a record together.
A synth supergroup.
Yeah, it's like a synth duo supergroup.
Light sleepers in the early morning cafe. 6 o'clock at the break of the day. Light sleepers, what did you find in the life you left behind? Did you lose yourself on the way?
Light Sleeper is just something I scribbled. I was in Los Angeles, and I was in this. You know, you wake up very early in the morning when you go to America, and I had these ideas and lyrics written down. I was sitting in a cafe about 6 o'clock in the morning, actually, and I just saw all these 2 or 3 characters sitting around, and they're all sitting there having their coffee and deep in thought and things. And so I just scribbled these lyrics down about why they're there and what their lives were about. And then Dave sent me this tune, and I didn't even think anything about them really. And Dave sent me this tune, and I just thought, I've got the perfect tune, perfect lyrics, perfect tune for these lyrics. It just seemed to fit so well together. For me personally, I think it's probably one of my favourite tracks on the record, because it goes beyond being a soft cell song. It's just a great song.